fun fact, that was basically my reaction after watching Todd Phillips' last movie, The Hangover Part 3. Like, banging against the wall, going like, motherfucker! You get the idea. But, and then again, it was also probably Warner Brothers after the weekend box office for this, which was not good. Not very good for this movie at all. But, welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. Today we are taking a look at the 3 films that make up August 19th, 2016. And we're starting off with the biggest of the new releases, if you want to call it that, War Dogs, which is the new film from Todd Phillips, featuring Jonah Hill and Miles Teller, and also features Ana de Armas and Bradley Cooper among the cast in here. And it follows 2 arms dealers, Ephraim Devroli and David Pacuz, who receive a U.S. Army contract to supply ammunition for the Afghan National Army worth approximately $300 million. And it's probably not a good sign when your movie is marketed as based on a true story, when it was literally revealed by one of the people in this movie that was not the case at all. It was basically stuff that was material stolen from the memoir of one of the people, Devroli, once a gun runner. And even though this book itself is based off of a book, it's actually not even based off of a book, it's based off of a Rolling Stone article called Arms and the Dudes by Guy Larson, who later expanded it into a novel. So technically it eventually did become a book, but bottom line is that the movie ain't that great. I mean, it was coming around that time when you were getting a bunch of these war comedies, not even comedies, war dramedies, if you will, like this mix of comedy and drama. Some of them were good, like Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Others not so much, like Our Brand is Crisis. This one's kind of in the middle overall. And it's not because the actors aren't trying in here. In fact, if anything, the movie is worth it just to see, a more serious performance by usually comedic actors like Jonah Hill and Miles Teller, who I think really are the best parts of this movie in general. But other than that, though, the rest of the movie itself is kind of bland and forgettable. It's one of those movies where, I mean, there is some good ideas involved in it, and other than that, I mean, it's nothing really that's exciting or that amazing overall. I mean, I think one of the reviews kind of summed it up best, where it says here, this came from Matt Zeitz of RogerEbert.com, who basically said, War Dogs is a film about horrible people that refuse to own the horribleness. I mean, that's basically true. I mean, that's literally what the movie is kind of like, but, I mean, it's a movie where, yeah, the performances overall are the best part, but then again, it's a movie that's glorifying people that you should not be glorifying overall. I mean, it's that type of a film, but, and also, I think overall, I think a much better movie in Lord of War did this a whole lot better. I mean, that movie worked because, that was a movie that was basically showing you the glamour side, but also the dark side, not really rooting these people on because they're clearly monsters. And it was just a much better film overall, but this, not so much. The only reason I would say watch this movie is because of the performances that are very against type for Jonah Hill and Miles Teller. You also get some good performances by Ana de Armas and Bradley Cooper as well. But to say it's a great movie is kind of an over-exaggeration overall. I mean, it's cool to see Todd Phillips doing something outside of his norm, but then again, when he does something outside of his norm, he's not really as great as he was with the comedies that he was doing. I mean, yeah, this isn't as bad as something like Due Date or the Hangover sequels, but it's still not a great movie. It's just kind of a bland, forgettable movie, honestly. I mean, not much more I can really say about it, except War Dogs, okay, is mostly worth it for the performances alone, but other than that, I wouldn't tell anybody to rush out and see this film overall. I think there are much better movies that you could watch, like Lord of War or Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, that are much better war films than this, So with that said, let's go ahead and get to the real winner of this week, and I mean that all across the board. I think this was my favorite movie of 2016, and it comes from a usually reliable source, Leica Animation. This is Kubo and the Two Strings.
It's Kubo.
I think being a mom was a huge reason why I wanted to make this.
Way to spoil the movie, dude. I mean, Jesus Christ. They literally just spoiled one of the big twists in that trailer there. It's funny, because I never knew that commercial existed. I was trying to find a commercial that didn't make this movie look too much. They were dumbing it down for its audience with these commercials that were clearly made to be on Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, and I thought I found one with that there. And then you just hear Charlize Theron going like, it was fun playing the mom in this. It's just like, hello? But regardless of the bad marketing, that should not take away from the true brilliance of this movie. I mean, this was a really good year for animation in general, but this was the towering achievement. This was easily the best animated movie released in 2016. And really, when you watch it, it's not hard to see why. So in this movie, Kubo lives a quiet, normal life in a small, side village until a spirit from the past turns his life upside down by reigniting an age-old vendetta. This causes all sorts of havoc as gods and monsters chase Kubo, who, in order to survive, must locate a magical suit of armor once worn by his late father, a legendary samurai warrior. At least I'll give this movie credit. I'll give that commercial credit. It didn't reveal the other spoiler of who the father is, but you can kind of get an idea if you watch that trailer there. But anyway, I'm done talking shit about the trailer. Let's talk about the brilliance of this movie, because this is a brilliant movie. This is a phenomenal movie. I mean, Leica Animation had been on a roll all the way since Coraline in 2009. They just continued it with Paranorman. Even the Box Trolls, which was their worst film, is still a really good movie. Like, this is really one of the best animated movies I've ever seen. This movie was just pitch perfect. I loved every single moment of this movie. I thought they did the best job they could have done with this story. A lot of what made Paranorman that great classic movie is definitely in this movie. And if you saw Paranorman, you know exactly how good of a movie that really was. But there are so many wonderful and amazing elements to this. Let's start off with the animation, which is easily the best and the most complex that Leica has done up to this point. There's a great little mid-credit sequence, similar to the end-credit sequence for Paranorman, where they show the animators creating this 12-foot skeleton that was in the film. And the fact that they were willing to go that far to create such a creation is so damn impressive. Like, it just goes to show you the amazing level of talent that the studio has to come up with some breathtaking animation. And for those people that are still trying to convince you that artificial intelligence is the future of animation, look at this. Look at the commercial. Look at the movie here. Like, look at the way that the skeleton looks. I don't know if I'm actually going to get a picture here, but you get the idea. Like, if you see the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That took effort, and it looks more authentic than anything out of AI. I don't care what anybody says. But anyway, back to praising the movie here. Another great element is the story. And what's great about this movie is that it plays around with your expectations, and it doesn't do the typical action climax way of ending a movie. It creates a situation where it's mostly centering around just how a character can just be himself and not have to resort to simple fighting to end the problem. In it, Kubo makes the choice to not resort to violence, but to his stories to come up with a way to defeat his archenemy, his own grandfather. But by basically having that memories are a much stronger weapon than actual weapons. It reminds me so much of the Lego Movie and how that ended. Like, it didn't end in violence. It basically just ended with a simple conversation with President Business, a.k.a. the kid talking to his father. I mean, they're basically kind of the same character. And simple. It's a simple thing that doesn't have to resort to just a bad guy being defeated by violence and all that. Like, I like that. I really like that they went with that direction, and it plays it well in this. The voice acting is great. Charlize Theron and Matthew McConaughey were not only funny and brilliantly voice acted, but I like the way the movie plays it out. They do such a good job of hiding those obvious twists that are later to come, but again, unless you're watching that trailer I just showed you, which, again, I never knew that trailer even existed, but Art Parkinson was really good as Kubo, and I really think he's an underrated actor, because he should have gotten some more voice roles after this. But Ray Fiennes is really good as Raiden. Rooney Mara, the sisters of Kubo's mother, are very good too. I like the music by Dario Marinelli. I thought that was brilliantly done, creating these amazing score compositions that stand a chance of becoming a classic movie score for years to come. I mean, there's a great song in the credits by Regina Spektor. You know, she did what was the song she did? She did a song in the 2000s. Now, I can't remember what it was. Well, it's no wonder I couldn't remember it, because I thought it was just a simple song like Heart or something like that. No, it's called Fidelity, which, yeah, I never would have put that together. But, yeah, she made that song, and you remember that, yeah, this girl can actually sing. I mean, and, yeah, it's a great song overall. In what has been a mostly meh kind of summer where you don't have that many great solid movies in general, this was the best thing to come out this entire summer. Kubo was right up there with Zootopia and Deadpool, with some of the best movies of the year. I loved it that much. The animation is breathtaking. The story is great. The voice acting is amazing. The music is great. Everything about this movie just works. It's great to have a studio like Leica out there existing, because they not only make these beautiful movies, but also profound movies. Films that make you think a lot and are just enjoyable for both kids and audiences. It's not dumbing it down for your little kids to just shut them up. Like, some films we've talked about this year, like 9 Lives, is a perfect example of a film that is insulting your intelligence to your kids. But, excuse me, but, good Lord, sorry. I had something in my throat there, sorry. But, anyway, like I said, It's a movie that doesn't dumb down to the audience. I mean, this studio has done a fantastic job of creating great animation, and Kubo is by far the best movie they've done. This is one that I highly recommend you check out if you haven't seen it yet, because it is definitely their towering achievement. This is the best thing they've done. They've done a lot of great stuff, but this is their crowning achievement. This is their magnum opus. This is the best movie I saw in 2016, hands down. So with all that said, let's go ahead and move on to our last movie, and that is the remake of Ben-Hur, starring, I can't remember who stars as Ben-Hur, but Morgan Freeman's in it.
First to finish, lost to die. Are we having fun now, brother?
I don't think he's having fun, but you clearly seem to be having a time of your life, Toby Kebbell. That's Jack Houston, by the way, as Ben-Hur. The name sounded familiar, I just couldn't remember it. And, look at this poster and tell me that you can't picture this guy screaming like Charlie on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia talking about wild card, bitches! Wild card, bitches! Yeah! I mean, tell me you can't see that, because that's the first thing I thought of when I saw that. Even Jack Houston looks like Charlie Day if you shaved off most of his beard from It's Always Sunny, but this is, of course, Ben-Hur. This is a remake of the classic movie made famous by Charlton Heston back in the 1960s, 1959, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Was it 59 or it was somewhere around that time? Yeah, 1959 was was the one with Charlton Heston in it, and it was the one where, this is the story about it. It's termed as a readaptation, reimagining, and new interpretation of the novel. Sure, why not? Following Judah Ben-Hur, played by Jack Houston, a young prince who is falsely accused by a stepbrother, played by Toby Kebbell, an officer of the Roman army, and is sent to slavery, only to escape and seek vengeance, with the help of Morgan Freeman wearing the world's worst afro ever. I mean, it's not even really an afro. It just basically, it's like they took a mop, took off the stick, and just plastered it on Morgan Freeman's head. I mean, good lord, that looks awful, and it's noticeable in the movie. And I just showed you some of the fun parts about this movie. There are some cool aspects to it. Like, I did like that ship scene where, it felt like you were on a roller coaster. You were like on one of those dark rides at Universal Studios. Like, you're riding Transformers and you're suddenly in the action when, his leg gets taken out there and you see you're in this battle. Like, that's cool. That's some cool imagery there. There's some fun over-the-top moments in this movie, too, specifically Morgan Freeman's performance and the fact that you also have a horse that just randomly out of nowhere decides to just jump into the audience in the Coliseum, and then the chase at the end, like the big horse chase at the end, and was very fun to watch. Unfortunately, there's still a good, 2 hours of the movie that's still there you have to deal with, and truth be told, a lot of it's kind of boring. I mean, it's not even a bad movie. It's just mostly boring stuff. And even with the stuff that is cool in this, like, that stuff you can easily find online. And you can watch about 5 minutes of the movie and be like, wow, this actually looks pretty good. And I might check out the movie someday. And someone will tell you, don't. I mean, just watch the stuff there. You'll be good to go. That'd be me telling you that. Just watch the stuff online. It's worth it to watch it online alone. But I'll give it credit, they did at least try to put an effort into it here. There is a lot of stuff in it that I did enjoy. I did enjoy the cinematography of this. I did like the over-the-top moments of this. I did like that they were trying to do something unique and different with it, but it just really wasn't selling overall. And I think it was mostly simply because movies like this were kind of not doing so well overall. In fact, a lot of them were really terrible. I mean, we had one earlier in the year which ended up being one of the worst films of the year, which was Gods of Egypt. And then you had The Legend of Hercules, and then Exodus, Gods and Kings. All terrible movies. So yeah, this thing was not going to find an audience in this time period when these type of films don't really usually do all that well. And like I said, I do give it credit where credit is due. There are times where you can tell they are trying to update this for a new generation, and at times it can look cool, but other than that, though, it's really not worth it in the long run. It's just kind of like, I can see the direction you're going with here, but the final product doesn't deliver what you promised us, really. It's just kind of like, I mean, yeah, I'll give them credit where credit is due. Sometimes it looks cool, but it's not enough for me to recommend the movie overall. Like I said, the best stuff was in that trailer, and that stuff you can find online within a span of 5 minutes, but as far as the rest of the film goes, I'll give them points for trying. It's not like a half-assed effort. They are putting effort into it, but they just needed to do more to kind of distance it away from something like a Gladiator knockoff, because that's really what it comes down to with this. Just like trying to do this nowadays, it's trying way too hard to be a new Gladiator for this decade, and it just didn't work that well. Because Gladiator was essentially the Ben-Hur for the 2000s, pretty much. But I don't know, man. This one just didn't do it for me. But hey, I'll give it this though. I'll always have that image of Jack Houston screaming on the poster, and all I can think to myself is Charlie Day screaming, "Wild card bitches, yeehaw!"
Wild card, bitches! Yeah!
And thus, with all that said, we wrap up another episode of Time About the Movies, and we're also coming to the end of the 2016 summer season. But unlike previous years, we are getting some good movies here. Case in point with our next movie that we'll take a look at, the latest film from the director of Evil Dead, Fede Alvarez, who brings in his co-star his main star Jane Levy, and also brings in Stephen Lang for Don't Breathe. We'll also take a look at the Jason Statham sequel, Mechanic Resurrection. Certainly not a great movie, but we'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at a great movie that nobody, I guarantee you, has ever even heard of, and I was so lucky enough to find this movie, and I'm glad I did, because I really enjoyed the hell out of it. Southside with You, which is basically a sort of a Before Sunrise type of movie, but this time the focus is on a young Barack Obama and a young Michelle Obama going out on their first date, or one of their first dates. I gotta rewatch it again just to make sure, but yeah, it's a great movie, and and I'm really glad I get to talk about that coming up next time, as well as we'll take a look at Hands of Stone, which is another movie that I believe. No, this is not the movie I thought it was, but it has Edgar Ramirez in it, along with Robert De Niro, so we'll take a look at that. So, other than that, is that it? I think so, just those 4 movies. So we'll take a look at Don't Breathe, Mechanic Resurrection, Southside with You, and Hands of Stone coming up tomorrow on the show, so stay tuned for that. With all that said, though, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and do me the honors of hitting that like button, the subscribe button, and that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the previous episode we did. So with all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.